I'm already starting on my Friday. Why? Because I'm of legal age. So don't report my channel, right? I'm of legal age, and I've been of legal age for about a quarter of a century, right? Anyway. Thought I'd hop on and do a little read today. Since it's quite nice out, I just don't want that to be like completely shining in my eyes. Yowza. Yowza. The sun in our eyes and descending like flies. This is the Mind Info Oracle Cards deck. Okay. So if you're interested in getting those. Everyone's favorite word, patience. You're being asked to practice patience right now. It's not easy to do this, but you're strong, and there's a reason why things aren't aligning in the way you want them to in this moment. Have patience. It will eventually work out. So if you want to today, meditate on a question or concern that you have, and maybe something will come out in the reading that resonates with you. You know what I mean? How pale, like in that light, my lips look so pale. Like it's as you get older too, as you age, right? Anyway. And I haven't been spending as much time in the sun, and I use my sunscreen. So as much as I am outdoors, I always have facial sunscreen moisturizer on. Baz Luhrmann, wear sunscreen, right? Okay. Yeah, it's time. It's if you haven't been wearing sunscreen, it is now time. You're being asked to move forward towards the dream that you've been carrying in your heart. It's time to bring it out into the world. You're ready. It's time. Well, in that case, do I have an instrument? That's an interesting question. I mean, I'm not playing an instrument right now, if that's what you're asking. Have faith. It's not always easy to have faith and trust that everything is going to be okay. So when you get the first card, somebody's like, no, just be patient. Just be patient. Right? And you're like, excuse me, I'd like to throat punch the F out of you right now with that patience BS. Right? Something like that. But have faith. Okay, that's the message. It's not always easy to have faith and trust that everything is going to be okay, yet still you must do exactly that. I mean, really, what is your other option? Run around acting like these fools and criminals out here? That just makes your day a whole lot worse. And trust me, it's paperwork for somebody else that they don't want to do. So, because when you have faith, your life will begin to flow in magical ways that you never imagined was possible. Okay. Yeah, I got this. This is a tour shirt. Yeah. It has the dates on the back from the summer tour shirt. What else do we have here? Reassess. Right? Making that list and checking it twice. You might have to reassess. You're being asked to take stock of your life and let go of anything or anyone that no longer makes you happy. Notice who and what bring you joy and who and what don't. It's time for some life cleanup. Yeah. You know, around people that make you feel bad about yourself, maybe that's time to get some new friends. You know, if they don't want to stand up for your side, or even want to think about your side, then maybe that's not who needs to be on your team at the moment. You know what I mean? And it's not saying that that person won't come around at some point in time, but you know, are you gonna again? Are you It's like these partner readings where it's like, oh, your soulmate just hasn't figured it out yet. Well, they have, but they figured it out with somebody else. I mean, right? And what do you have to do? You have to keep going. You know, oh, I'll just fall down here and die. Ah. Really? Still got a job, don't you? Or maybe you lost your job, and you gotta go get a different one. Like whatever. You know what I mean? Life moves on, right? Some people get so wrapped up in their job that when they're retired or they lose their job, they don't have any sense of identity. They don't even know what the hell to do with themselves. I remember when I worked in that corporate world, people would be like, oh, I can't imagine what I would do with all my time if I wasn't working. I was like, really? I can think of all sorts of things. Even if I'm not interested, I will begin to get interested in. Like, to me, work was work. It was a means to an end of survival, like we all have to do. You know what I mean? Whatever job it is. Okay? So I can buy more of these tasty treats, which I bought yesterday, by the way. And then I didn't get around to it, and then I stuck it in the freezer to get it cold again, and then it was like frozen, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm not gonna drink it now. I think I did bust into some wine that I had yesterday evening. Which, just like a glass of wine for all y'all that want to monitor people out there and act like everyone's a freaking alcoholic because they took a sip of something. Jesus fucking Christ. You know what? I've never been, delinquent on my mortgage payments because of alcohol. Do you know what I mean? Like, just because somebody else had a problem doesn't mean... And that's the same with for some of these, I want to say communities out there, because there's a lot of different kinds. Church folks included, because it's all like, they're all cool with you until it's like you're not doing it their way, right? And it's like, oh, well, you're either with us or against us. It's like, so I have to do exactly what you're doing to be with you? Like, no. So, again, reassess. If they can't keep that separated, that's their problem. I remember in high school, there was a time when, it's like, girl drama or friend drama. And it's like, well, so-and-so doesn't like so-and-so. So you can, if you want to hang out with so-and-so, you can't be around so-and-so. And then you get in this little, and it's like, I don't want to be in the middle of that. I can remove myself from that as well. You know what I mean? Because it's like that King Solomon thing, right? And then, he's they're, bringing the child before him. Well, what if the child is you, right? You can only be in so many places at so many times, right? So maybe this time you have to say no. Well, sorry, you missed me the other 459 times that I was there. This time I'm not going to make it. You know what I mean? Like... reassess. Corporations do that all the time. When I was in the corporate world, you know how many reorganizations there was? Sometimes per year. It was insane. It's constant, right? So, but some of that's about survival as well. So, if you're not cutting those dead weights off in terms of, do you need to carry that with you forward? So anyway, yeah, fresh start. And you need to be around people that want to give you that fresh start as well, not people that see you and they're like, you know what I mean? They're just like ready to stack it against you or have some attitude or prejudice against you because of whatever reason. You know what I mean? You have to be willing to give yourself that opportunity as well. So, if you have to reassess where you are, who you're hanging out with, what your job is, what church you're going to. I mean, church, I've heard this from so many different church people, and it's sad because, it causes people to question their faith. And if you're in that position right now, you know, don't lose that faith just because, so and so and so and so from your church decided that the way you're living is all of a sudden, I mean, after so many years, like, you're cool, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, no, you're just some piece of shit now because blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? Because somebody else said so. Or somebody else started acting cold towards you, and then that's how it kind of, what I mean? How it's kind of like gets catching like that, and it's like, okay. So, yeah. And I think this happens too. The older you get, the more you realize that your world, it's not necessarily an external world, it's an internal world, you know. Because, some of us have feelings about things, feelings about things that we see on the news, like, feelings about, people that come up to, like, my house and, like, stole a brand new TV off my front porch. I mean, they had a newer vehicle, a newer Jeep than me. I mean, that's criminals these days. It's like, really? And it was like $100 TV. And they came in their new Jeep to come steal it off my front porch. And I was thinking about in the grocery store today, because I was up getting groceries, and I was like, let's see, well, my grandmother had how many? And I know they were never on, assistance. I'm like, what would they have gotten if they were on it? You know what I mean? But, some folks learned different ways of survival as well. You know what I mean? They were able to grow their own food. They, made their own bread, noodles. I mean, the Italians have done this for years as well. You know what I mean? Where I think, some of today's expectations are a little different than what it was, especially when you see all these, like, brand new vehicles. Like, okay, glad I could help you. But, I know people need to get to and from work, but, anyway, kind of makes you wonder, it's like, do they need to reassess maybe their financial priorities here of, that kind of payment plus your insurance plus how much gas it consumes and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, is that... And then you want other people to pay for that lifestyle? In a way, like, I don't know. It's like you see some of these pictures, it's like, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I really am when because that's just kind of some expectation that people have these days about stuff. And other people can have that expectation, but you don't have to make it your expectation. It's part of what I'm saying too. You can live life on your own terms, okay? So if you feel like you're kind of in a mess of people that don't make a lot of sense right now, again, have faith. Have some faith in the situation, okay? That maybe some other people will be more sensical, in ways. All right, anyway. And it sucks too, because there's people out there that really do need help. I mean, there's elderly people that their bodies are so broken down, at this point in time in their life that they can't go out and work. You know what I mean? Where it's not pleasant. You know what I mean? Hopefully, that doesn't happen to any of you out there listening, or me. You know what I mean? So, when we talk about this life cleanup, making it to the goalpost, in a certain fashion, has its benefits, doesn't it? And the benefit is you don't have to sit in some big gas guzzling 2023 4-door Silverado pickup at the food pantry line. Speak up. I mean, I saved a lot on produce this year because I grew some veggies, some tomatoes, cucumbers. I did a little bit of lettuce, you know. Yes, I had time to do it, but, when it came down to it, the actual planning out and everything, I would say, like, for me, it was like a total, I don't know if I could quantify it in hours, but, it can be simple if you want to start. You know what I mean? Something. So, because I know there's folks out there that have been like, okay, these, because there'll be some folks be like, I'm struggling. And there's other folks that are like, how are you struggling? Because you make a lot more money than me, and you know what I mean? Things like that, So, again, you don't have to have other people's expectations be your expectations. All right. So yeah, speak up. Yeah, I went to the grocery store and then I went through the drive-thru. You know how they're always asking to round up? Well, it was like $6 and it was like less than 25 cents. And then they're like, oh, round it up to blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I just want to pay the blah and change today. You know what I mean? Like if it's over 50 cents or closer, but you do that every single time. And it's like, well, are you saving? Are you saving for yourself? What are you doing for yourself? They were fine with taking it back off. They're like, no problem, blah, blah, blah. But, I could have just let it slide and be like, oh, well, I should probably give more anyway, blah, blah, blah. But, but there's people that do structured giving just for that reason, so that they don't go over budget. Maybe you're somebody who wants to give, but you need to give on a budget. And if somebody comes in and asks you for a donation, you just say like, well, I've already budgeted this year for my giving. Or you can say I give through my church, or, I volunteer my time. That's another way to do giving. I think that's very helpful and probably way more helpful, to be honest, because then they're getting your brain power, when you go and do that stuff, right? So here it says, what are you not saying that's eating you up inside? You can't keep this in forever. It's time to let it out so you can move on and be happy. So yeah, don't let something, something little like that change things. Like for some people that could have ruined their whole day, right? Now I was just like, no, I don't want to do that today. She's like, no problem, blah, blah. Done. Moved on. So I wasn't sitting there cursing the, franchise chain, being like, I'm never going there again because they last time, and you know what I mean? Because sometimes it's worth hollering about, and sometimes it's not. You know what I mean? But you gotta. That's your own personal barometer there. So. Hello, everybody in the chat today. Looks like folks are in a pretty good mood in the chat. I feel like this post-full moon thing has been pretty good for folks. Anyway, Soar, you're being asked to stop dimming your own light, period. It's time for you to come out of the shadows and let your authentic self roar. Fly high, dear one. So I feel like this is saying if you've been planning a project or something, go ahead and go for it. Okay. Yeah, so if it's like a creative project. Let's see what else this deck has to say today. Detach. You're being asked to detach from something that you've been holding on to. When we hold on too tightly to the outcome, it restricts the flow. Trust that the outcome will work out and let go of your attachment to it. Okay. So this is like having faith, but like detaching, right? Because, yeah, you can't control everything, right? That's when they're like, Jesus, take the wheel, right? Open up. You're being asked to open your heart to another, to let down your walls and trust that they want what's best for you. Your life will open up in wonderful ways once you decide to open up. Okay. So now that you've reassessed maybe what's not working, then maybe you can open up to like the right people, I guess, that actually want to listen. Align. You're being asked to align with your current situation, even if it's not easy to do so. Trust that there is much to be learned by being here. Pushing against what is will only make things harder on you. Align, surrender, and trust. Okay. So, especially with speaking up, sometimes that's hard to trust that, because it's like if you speak up and say something, it's like, oh no, somebody else isn't going to like me. Somebody else isn't going to like me, blah, blah. Well, where were they at anyway? Do they actually show up ever? So, it's like, do it anyway. Who cares? Connect. You're being asked to connect with others in meaningful ways. Sometimes it's helpful to get new perspectives and to simply be around other people. You're in need of this right now, and deep connections will benefit you in many ways. So this connection might also be something that helps you soar kind of into your own a little bit. Okay. Okay. And then again, with the give card, giving yourself a chance here. So one of the best feelings we can experience is giving to others. When we do so, we feel lifted up in our lives, and our lives improve greatly because of someone else's happiness. Think of one way you can give to another today. Okay. So the season of giving will be, coming up. So that can be something you guys might be thinking about. Okay. I find that working with organizations is kind of the best way to do that if you want to do some giving versus necessarily on a personal level, because sometimes then on a personal level, things, the expectations again get just a little bit distorted. Anyway, yeah. And then you can feel good about it as well. You know what I'm saying? It's so it doesn't have to be a one-sided giving. You will actually feel good doing it. Okay? Instead of like walking away from the interaction saying, I hope I did the right thing. You know You know what I mean? You're like, oh, I hope I did the right thing, and hopefully you don't regret that, right? So just want to put that framework out there. Anyway, so that's all I have for you today. Until next time, please do manifest wisely. Bye bye.